This coin almost ended up in the trash, but today, it's worth up to $1 million. One tiny omission turned a regular penny into a life-changing treasure, and yet, most people have no idea it even exists. Back in 2008, the U.S. Mint produced billions of Lincoln pennies, each one meant to look perfect, identical, and ordinary. But somewhere along the assembly line, a rare error occurred. The mint mark simply didn't appear. No D, no P, no letter at all. What seems like a tiny detail made this coin the ultimate collector's prize. Collectors who know the secret are obsessed. Dealers are racing to track them down. And the fascinating part? Many of these pennies are already hiding in plain sight, tucked away in jars, drawers, or even loose in your pocket change. Imagine holding a coin that could instantly transform your financial life, all because of one microscopic mistake that most people overlook. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. A single 2008 no-mint mark penny surfaced at auction, and the bidding escalated into the hundreds of thousands. Then, in the final moments, it skyrocketed close to $1 million. A simple, everyday penny had become $1 million miracle overnight, and the frenzy hasn't stopped since. This isn't just a story about money. It's about the thrill of discovery. One man was sorting coins from his wallet when he spotted something unusual. No mint mark where it should have been. He didn't know it at the time, but he was holding a piece of history, a coin that could make headlines and change lives. Collectors were shocked when they saw it. How could something so small be so valuable? They asked. But the truth is, the value is in the rarity. The missing mint mark is subtle, almost invisible if you're not looking for it. That tiny blank space is what turns a simple penny into a prize worth millions. Not every 2008 penny without a mint mark is worth a fortune. Condition is everything. Look for coins with crisp details on Lincoln's face and a smooth, unblemished surface. Any scratches, dings, or discoloration can drop the value dramatically. The experts say that spotting a genuine one in circulation is like finding a needle in a haystack. But if you do, it could be your ticket to financial freedom. One woman stumbled upon hers in a jar of old coins she inherited. At first, she thought it was just a regular penny. But when she brought it to a local coin shop, her jaw dropped. Dealers immediately recognized it. The excitement was palpable. A quiet living room turned into a scene straight out of a treasure hunt movie. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. The missing mint mark sits just below the date, almost invisible to the untrained eye. But those who know, this blank space is pure gold in the coin world. Every collector wants it, every dealer covets it, and the bidding wars prove just how valuable it is. It's not just about the money, though $1 million is certainly life-changing. It's about holding a piece of American history, a coin that survived billions of minting machines, countless hands, and years of circulation to end up in your pocket. That sense of wonder, the "I can't believe this is mine" feeling, is priceless. Dealers warn that timing is everything. Some coins vanish into private collections before the public even knows they exist. If you come across a 2008 penny and it's missing a mint mark, don't hesitate. Have it authenticated by a professional. This is not the time to gamble. This is the time to act. Remember, the key identifiers are subtle. Check under the year for the missing D or P. Examine Lincoln's features for clarity, and inspect the surface for any flaws. High-grade coins in mint condition are the ones commanding the attention of million-dollar bidders. Every detail counts, every nuance matters, and missing even one can cost thousands or more. One man found his at a flea market, tucked between old nickels and dimes. He couldn't believe his luck. He thought it was just a curiosity, until the dealer's eyes widened. That single penny would go on to sell for a staggering amount, nearly reaching $1 million. And it could have been anyone's coin, hidden in any pocket, jar, or couch cushion. So, take a moment and look through your collection. Check your change. Be patient. Be observant. That exact 2008 no-mint mark Lincoln penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. Collectors are still hunting. Dealers are still scrambling. And every day, one lucky finder could stumble across the coin of a lifetime. The question is, will it be you? If you want, I can also create a minute-by-minute breakdown with timing cues to make this 10-minute script perfect for a voiceover pacing, so it hits suspense peaks and cliffhangers exactly where needed. That will make it feel like a cinematic treasure hunt. This coin almost ended up in the trash, but today, it's valued at over $1 million. A single, ordinary Lincoln penny from 2015, the kind you've probably never given a second glance, has quietly become one of the most sought-after treasures in the coin world. And what happened next stunned collectors across the United States. The story begins in the quiet halls of the U.S. Mint. In 2015, billions of pennies rolled off the presses, each destined for pocket change, cash registers, and the forgotten corners of coin jars. But among the countless coins, one small, seemingly ordinary penny carried a tiny flaw that would eventually make it priceless. It had no mint mark. Just a small, missing letter that most people would never notice, yet this tiny omission transformed it into $1 million miracle. Collectors were shocked when the first reports surfaced. One dealer, examining a fresh batch of coins from circulation, noticed a penny that looked off. At first glance, it seemed ordinary, even dull. But under closer inspection, the absence of the mint mark became undeniable. This small detail, almost invisible to the casual eye, is what sets this penny apart. And now, the hunt for these coins is more intense than ever. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that could change your life. One man, a casual collector in Ohio, found this very penny tucked in a jar of spare change. He thought it was just another 2015 penny, destined to clutter his drawer. But when he brought it to a professional appraiser, his jaw dropped. The coin was authentic, rare, and in pristine condition. Its market value? Over $1 million. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle right before his eyes, and yet, the mystery deepens. How did a modern penny, minted in 2015, escape the usual quality control that stamps billions of coins every year? Experts explain that these no-mint mark errors happen when a coin accidentally skips the marking process. It's extremely rare, happening only once in a great while, and the results are mind-blowing for collectors. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on every potential find, knowing that a single coin could vault into the $1 million category. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. An online auction, initially listed as a standard 2015 penny, drew tens of thousands of viewers when the coin's rarity was verified. Bidding skyrocketed as collectors realized they were witnessing a piece of American history that could make them millionaires overnight. The tension was palpable. Some walked away empty-handed, others celebrated a life-changing victory. And all of it started with a coin that most people would have spent or tossed without a second thought. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. Look closely at the 2015 Lincoln penny in your pocket change. The mint mark, usually a small letter near the date, is entirely missing on these rare coins. That absence, that small imperfection, is what can transform an ordinary penny into a treasure worth over $1 million. Many collectors examine coins obsessively, but only a keen eye will spot this rare anomaly. Collectors share stories of their finds with awe and disbelief. One woman discovered 3 no-mint mark pennies hidden in a change envelope at her local bank. Each one was evaluated and verified, and all 3 were valued at high six-figure prices, one even crossing into the $1 million range. The excitement is contagious because it proves that treasures can be hiding right under your nose, in the most ordinary of places. Identifying this coin requires patience and a careful hand. Examine every penny dated 2015 closely. Use magnification to verify the absence of the mint mark. Avoid common mistakes like confusing a worn coin with a no-mint mark error. Condition matters. The higher the quality, the closer it approaches the $1 million mark. And remember, even a tiny scratch or a subtle cleaning can dramatically affect value. The difference between a standard penny and $1 million find could be invisible to the untrained UYE.so. The next time you sort through pocket change, take a moment to examine each coin. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. A small error, overlooked by thousands, could be your once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Don't let it slip away. If you want, I can also craft a second version with even more dramatic cliffhangers every minute, designed to maximize watch time and keep your viewers glued for the full 10 minutes. This one would be almost cinematic in suspense. Do you want me to do that next? This coin almost ended up in the trash, but sold for nearly $1 million. Imagine holding a tiny piece of copper, completely ordinary at first glance, that hides a secret worth over $1 million. That's exactly what happened with the 1964 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin so rare, so elusive, that collectors across the country are chasing it like treasure hunters. The story begins in 1964, a year etched into American history. The Beatles were just hitting the charts, the world was buzzing with change, and the Lincoln penny continued to roll quietly out of the U.S. Mint. Most people didn't give it a second glance. But in one corner of the mint, a subtle mistake occurred, something most eyes would never notice. This mint mark, the small d stamped on the coin, was often misaligned or missing entirely. And it's this tiny anomaly that turned ordinary change into a potential $1 million miracle. Collectors were shocked when this coin first surfaced. Hidden in a stack of pennies at a local coin shop, an astute collector noticed something odd. The D mint mark was faint, barely visible, yet perfectly authentic. Dealers rushed to examine it, knowing that coins like this rarely appear in circulation. And when it finally went to auction, the bids skyrocketed. One man's pocket change became $1 million story overnight. Word spread fast. Everyone wanted a piece of this mystery. Auctions, private sales, even local collectors' groups were buzzing. The penny wasn't just copper and zinc anymore. It had become a symbol of fortune hiding in plain sight. Experts started poring over the 1964 D pennies, teaching collectors to look for the tiniest details: the placement of the mint mark, the sharpness of the strike, and even the coin's patina. It was as if this little penny held a secret only the most observant could unlock. Unlike modern coins, the 1964 D penny carries a story of minting irregularities that were rarely documented. Some pennies were struck multiple times, leaving faint doubling on the letters of Liberty, or In God We Trust. Others had that elusive D slightly off-center. These imperfections, once overlooked, became the very hallmark of extreme value. A coin that might have been lost in your change jar suddenly transforms into $1 million discovery. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on these pennies, and collectors are scanning through piles of pocket change like never before. But it's not just about luck. Knowing what to look for can make all the difference. The mint mark is key. Look for a precise D that seems slightly detached from the date. Examine the coin's edges and the clarity of Lincoln's features. Even the smallest scratch or anomaly can either ruin the value or confirm its authenticity. And the stories don't stop there. One collector, an everyday man with no previous experience in rare coins, found a 1964 D penny in an old shoebox from his childhood. He brought it to an appraiser just to satisfy curiosity, expecting maybe a few dollars at most. Instead, he walked away with a verified coin that could command over $1 million. This isn't just a coin. It's a once-in-a-lifetime chance to turn a small discovery into extraordinary wealth. Your own drawer, your own jar of change. Hidden among ordinary pennies could be a 1964 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny waiting for the right eyes to notice it. Every coin has a story, and this one has rewritten the rulebook for collectors. Its rarity isn't just about numbers, it's about history, chance, and the thrill of discovery. Start by sorting through your coins carefully. Use good lighting and magnification. Compare the mint mark to verified examples online or in collectors' guides. Avoid coins that look worn or altered. Authenticity is everything. Remember, this is the penny that could make your collection legendary. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. One coin, almost overlooked, now a treasure coveted by collectors nationwide. Don't let it slip through your fingers. Look carefully, learn the signs, and you might just find yourself holding a piece of history that could change your life forever. If you want, I can also create a version with precise timestamps for every suspenseful reset moment, so it's perfectly paced for a 10-minute voiceover with dramatic beats. That way, the viewer never loses engagement. It all began in 1968, a year most of us barely notice in history books. Gas was cheap, the world was changing fast, and Americans were tossing pennies into jars without a second thought. But hidden inside one ordinary batch of Lincoln pennies was a tiny anomaly that would one day shock collectors across the country. The D-Mint mark penny, so unassuming, so ordinary in appearance, was quietly waiting in the shadows. Most people never noticed the difference between pennies minted in Denver and Philadelphia, yet this small mark is what makes the 1968 D Lincoln penny worth more than you could ever imagine. Collectors were shocked when the first few examples of this coin surfaced. Suddenly, pocket change became a treasure map. Imagine this: a man sifting through a jar of pennies at a garage sale, thinking he's just doing a chore, when his eyes catch something unusual. The mint mark looks slightly off. There's a subtle doubling, a tiny shift, so small that most people would never even see it. But for coin experts, this was a jackpot. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on these coins. Auctions are exploding with offers that most people couldn't even dream of. A single 1968 D penny in perfect condition has sold for nearly $1 million, and the prices are still climbing. What happened next stunned the entire coin world. Some coins were found with die errors, faint doubling of the D mint mark, and subtle imperfections that only experts could detect. These details make a huge difference. One tiny line, one minor flaw, or the absence of it, can multiply a coin's value tenfold. Collectors began searching every jar, every register, every forgotten wallet. Everyone wants a chance to hold a piece of history worth a fortune. And yet, most people walk past it without a second glance. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it completely. The story of the 1968 D penny is not just about rarity. It's about timing, luck, and the incredible journey from mint to market. Some of these coins were almost melted down, lost forever in the everyday shuffle of commerce. Others ended up in small collections, hidden in drawers for decades, waiting for the right moment to shine. And when that moment came, the auction houses couldn't believe the bids. $1 million offers flew in from every corner of the country. First, check the D mint mark on the obverse side, just below the date. Look for doubling, subtle, barely noticeable, yet unmistakable if you know what to search for. Inspect the condition. Scratches, wear, and corrosion all reduce value drastically. Only pennies in near mint or mint state condition fetch the millions. And remember, one overlooked detail can make the difference between an ordinary penny and a treasure worth over $1 million. But the excitement doesn't stop there. The thrill of discovery, the chase, the chance that a coin hiding in your pocket or jar could transform your life, it's electric. Every collector dreams of it, but only a few ever find it. And when you do, the moment is unforgettable. Your ordinary, forgotten penny suddenly becomes a key to unimaginable wealth. Imagine holding it in your hand, the weight of history, the story of a nation, and the promise of $1 million fortune. Dealers, collectors, and historians alike are captivated by this tiny piece of copper. And the most shocking part? You don't have to be a millionaire to stumble upon it. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. Don't miss your chance. Look closely, inspect carefully, and treasure what most people overlook. Because for one lucky collector, a single 1968 D mint mark Lincoln penny is more than change. It's a once-in-a-lifetime miracle, a ticket to the extraordinary, and proof that sometimes the smallest things hold the greatest value. If you want, I can also break this script down with timestamps and visual cues to ensure it fills a full 10 minutes perfectly for a faceless YouTube video, making it flow naturally for voiceover pacing and cliffhangers. Do you want me to do that next? This coin almost ended up in a forgotten drawer, yet today it's worth up to $1.5 million. Imagine pocket change, something you toss into a jar without a thought, turning into a life-altering treasure. That's exactly what happened with the 2018 D mint mark Lincoln penny. And the story behind it is more unbelievable than most collectors could ever dream. It all starts at the US Mint, where billions of pennies are produced each year. 2018 wasn't an unusual year. just another year of coins rolling off the press. But amid the countless pennies, a tiny minting anomaly occurred. A misaligned strike, a subtle error in the die, created a penny unlike any other. At first glance, it looked like any ordinary 2018 D penny, but one small detail set it apart. And that tiny detail? It's what made this coin a potential million-dollar miracle. Collectors first started noticing something strange when a few 2018 D pennies began showing up in online auctions. But the early listings didn't attract much attention. After all, who would suspect a modern penny to be worth millions? Dealers shrugged it off, unaware that one minor imperfection could make a coin nearly priceless. Then, one day, a seasoned collector noticed a subtle difference under magnification. What he saw stunned him. This penny carried an incredibly rare die error, something so subtle that most eyes would completely miss it. Word spread fast, and soon the coin world was buzzing. Collectors were shocked. Auctions skyrocketed. One man's casual jar of change became the center of a bidding frenzy, as dealers scrambled to track down more examples. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. It turned out that very few of these 2018 D pennies with the minting error even existed. It was like finding a needle in a haystack, except this needle was worth $1 million. This penny wasn't just rare because of its error. It was rare because it represented a modern anomaly that the mint itself didn't anticipate. For years, people collected Lincoln pennies without a second thought, thinking all modern coins were essentially worthless. But now, the rules had changed. One overlooked die misalignment, one tiny strike imperfection, created a coin that could change a life in an instant. And most collectors still don't know how to spot it. Imagine holding it in your hand. It looks ordinary at first glance, but under the right light, with careful observation, the difference becomes clear. That subtle shift in the mint mark, the slightly off-center design, the way the copper catches the light, these are the signs that scream $1 million penny. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on every confirmed example, and auction prices are climbing by the hour. So, how do you know if your own pocket change could contain this modern miracle? Look closely at the D mint mark. Compare it to standard 2018 pennies. Notice the slight doubling or misalignment on the letters? That's the signal. Examine the coin under magnification for unusual wear or tiny anomalies in the strike. And remember, even seasoned collectors miss this, so patience and a keen eye are your best tools. This isn't a coin you spot with a casual glance. It's a treasure that rewards the observant. Some collectors stumbled onto it by accident, pulling a handful of pennies from a jar and noticing something odd under a magnifying glass. Others discovered it at estate sales, where decades-old collections quietly held millions of dollars worth of potential. One man even bought a small bundle of pocket change for $1, and hidden inside was a 2018 D penny destined for auction records. That's the kind of story that makes coin collecting addictive. One small coin can change your life forever. It's not just about luck. Understanding what to look for, paying attention to tiny minting errors, and checking every penny carefully is what separates a casual collector from someone who could literally stumble upon $1 million discovery. This penny is proof that life-changing treasures don't always come from gold bars or stocks. They sometimes hide in plain sight, in your own pocket. If you see this coin, don't let it slip through your fingers. The market is heating up, and every confirmed example is a rare opportunity. Auctions are breaking records, collectors are calling every dealer in town, and suddenly, your jar of pennies could be more valuable than you ever imagined. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. One subtle mint mark error, one overlooked die misalignment, and suddenly, what seemed like ordinary change transforms into a fortune. Don't ignore it. Check your coins, examine them carefully, and keep your eyes open for the 2018 D Lincoln penny that could change everything. I can also create a second variation with even more suspense and cliffhangers spaced every 45 to 60 seconds to boost watch time and engagement if you want. Do you want me to do that? This coin almost ended up in the trash, but it could have made someone $1 million. Imagine casually tossing a penny into your jar, only to realize decades later it could have transformed your life forever. That's exactly the story behind the 1970-60 mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin so ordinary looking, yet so astonishingly valuable. It all started in the quiet halls of the U.S. Mint in 1976. Millions of pennies were being struck to meet the nation's growing demand for change. But hidden among those millions was a rare error, a subtle flaw that most people would never notice. A tiny misstep, a detail overlooked, suddenly made this coin one of the most sought-after treasures for collectors. Collectors were shocked when the first 1970-60 era pennies surfaced. It wasn't flashy at first glance, just a small mint mark that had a curious difference, almost invisible to the untrained eye. But dealers quickly realized this was no ordinary penny. Auctions began heating up, bids skyrocketed, and what once was a simple coin flipped out of circulation became $1 million miracle. One man, a casual coin collector, stumbled upon this gem in a bag of change he'd forgotten in a desk drawer. At first, he laughed at it, thinking it was just another 1976 penny. But a closer look revealed the mint mark difference that could turn anyone's pocket change into a life-changing fortune. Dealers were calling from across the country, each willing to pay more than the last, and the price climbed higher and higher, nearing that unbelievable $1 million mark. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Experts confirmed that this coin wasn't just rare, it was one of a handful with the exact minting variation that collectors have been hunting for decades. Suddenly, everyday Americans were checking their pockets, jars, and drawers. Could they be holding the next $1 million penny without even knowing it? The excitement wasn't just about the money. It was about the story. Each 1970-60 penny carries the mystery of the mint's machinery, the tiny imperfection that changed its destiny, and the thrill of discovery. Dealers were rushing to get their hands on these coins, collectors held their breath at auctions, and casual finders were suddenly catapulted into a world of unimaginable value. Every 1 to 2 minutes, the market resets itself with a new revelation. How many coins are out there? Who will be the next person to discover one tucked away in a jar? And here's the shocking part: most people wouldn't even know they had it. The difference is subtle. The D-mint mark is where your attention must go. Look closely at the placement, the spacing, and the depth. Tiny details like these determine whether a penny is worth a few cents or a staggering $1 million. Imagine the thrill, the disbelief, and the excitement of holding this coin in your hands. One man's careless change became someone else's financial miracle, and the chase for these pennies is still as fierce today as it was decades ago. Collectors whisper about secret finds, hidden auctions, and the rare moments when a penny goes from pocket change to headline news. So how can you identify this exact 1970-60 mint mark penny? Examine the D on the reverse side. Check the spacing between letters, the depth of the stamping, and the tiniest irregularities in the metal. Avoid counterfeits, and trust certified graders when possible. Even a slight misalignment or subtle doubling can make the difference between ordinary and extraordinary. Between a few cents and over $1 million, the stakes are real. The stories are real. And the opportunity is right in front of you. This penny isn't just a coin, it's a symbol of hidden fortune, a testament to the incredible surprises lurking in everyday life. The next time you empty your pocket change or sort through old jars, pause and look carefully. One small coin could hold the key to a future you never imagined. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. Don't just glance at it, don't just toss it aside. Study it, treasure it, and realize that sometimes the smallest things carry the largest rewards. If you want, I can also craft a minute-by-minute breakdown with voiceover pacing cues so it hits the full 10-minute runtime perfectly, with every suspense point and cliffhanger timed for maximum engagement. This makes it super easy for your faceless YouTube video production. This coin almost ended up in a pile of forgotten pocket change, but it's now worth up to $1.7 million. Imagine that, a single penny, something most of us toss without a second thought, suddenly transforming into a fortune that could change a life forever. It all started in 2017 at the Denver Mint. The Lincoln penny, something Americans have carried for over a century, was being struck like any other day. But in the machinery, an almost invisible minting error occurred. A tiny detail went unnoticed by workers, by collectors, even by the casual eyes of those handling the coins. Yet that microscopic flaw is what makes this penny potentially worth millions. Collectors were stunned when the first of these pennies appeared on the market. Dealers scrambled, auctions erupted, and suddenly what had been considered ordinary, worthless pocket change became the centerpiece of a multi-million-dollar frenzy. One man found this very penny in his change, barely glancing at it before stashing it in a jar. Years later, when he showed it to an expert, he was told something that made him stop in his tracks. This coin could fetch up to $1.7 million. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Stories of near misses poured in, pennies discarded in drawers, coins accidentally thrown into vending machines, even pennies hiding inside the pages of old books. Each of these coins held the same rare mint mark, the same flaw that makes the 2017 D. Lincoln penny one of the most valuable modern errors in U.S. history. One small misstep in the minting process transformed an everyday coin into a million-dollar miracle. The penny's value lies in its rarity. While millions of Lincoln pennies were minted in 2017, only a handful carry this exact D mint mark variation, coupled with the precise misalignment that collectors now hunt for with feverish intensity. This isn't just a coin, it's a symbol of chance, of fate, of the idea that sometimes, fortune really can appear in the most mundane moments. Dealers are racing to authenticate these pennies, knowing that each one could bring a seven-figure payday, and yet many collectors still overlook the subtle signs. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. The placement of the D, its exact angle, the slight shift in the metal surface. These are things you can't see without careful inspection, but they are the key to unlocking unimaginable value. Every time one of these coins appears at auction, it makes headlines. Every time someone realizes the fortune they're holding, it changes their life forever. One woman recounts how she found this penny wedged between couch cushions. She didn't think much of it at first. It was just another coin in a jar she'd been saving for spare change. But the moment she took it to an expert, her jaw dropped. She was holding over $1 million in her hands, a single penny that had traveled unnoticed through countless pockets, registers, and wallets, waiting for someone to recognize its true worth. Look closely at the D mint mark. It should be perfectly struck but slightly offset. Check the edges for tiny anomalies, the surface for subtle imperfections. Compare it to regular 2017 pennies. Many people mistake other minor variations for the million-dollar coin, but this specific misprint is what drives its astronomical value. Even a tiny scratch or wear can reduce its worth, so careful handling is essential. Imagine holding this coin yourself. Picture it lying in your drawer, forgotten amidst the clutter of everyday life, while elsewhere, people are paying millions for the same exact penny. It's almost impossible to believe, yet it's happening. Each 2017 D. Lincoln penny with this rare minting error is a golden ticket, a tiny metal miracle capable of transforming lives. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. Just one glance at the correct D mint mark could be the moment your life changes. No need to search endlessly, no need to imagine what might be hiding under a couch cushion. That penny, if it's the right one, is already a treasure beyond most people's wildest dreams. So next time you dig into your pocket change, slow down. Examine each penny with fresh eyes. That mundane coin jingling at the bottom of your purse or the edge of your jar could very well be your ticket to $1 million discovery. One coin, one chance, one life-changing moment, all hidden in plain sight. If you want, I can also create the 10-minute spoken word version with natural pauses and dramatic beats so it's ready for faceless YouTube narration. This makes it perfect for pacing, cliffhangers, and suspense. This penny almost ended up in a vending machine, but today it could be worth nearly $2 million. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that seems ordinary, just another Lincoln cent, yet hiding a secret that can change your life forever. That's exactly what happened with the 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin so rare, collectors are still stunned by its existence. Back in 1988, millions of pennies rolled out of the U.S. Mint, destined for pockets, jars, and cash registers across America. Most were overlooked, tossed aside, or saved for their face value. But among these ordinary pennies, a small number carried a tiny, almost invisible flaw. They were struck without the mint mark. No D from Denver, no P from Philadelphia, just a lone Lincoln, facing the world with an empty space where history should have left its mark. Collectors were shocked when the first examples surfaced. Experts studied them under magnification, tracing every line, every ridge. How could something so small, so seemingly insignificant, carry a value of over $1 million? The answer lies in the rarity and the story behind it. A minting error, unnoticed for decades, suddenly became the crown jewel of modern Lincoln cents. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Once word leaked that these 1988 pennies existed, auctions exploded. Dealers were rushing to get their hands on every known piece. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle overnight. Ordinary Americans were holding a fortune without even knowing it, sipping coffee, emptying pockets, totally unaware that their spare change could outshine the rarest gold coins in a collector's showcase. The coin's journey is as mysterious as its value. Some were found in jars, untouched for 30 years. Others were discovered in old cash registers, pennies stacked among the everyday coins we rarely notice. And each discovery reignites the thrill, the heart-pounding realization that something ordinary could be extraordinary. Collectors quickly learn that spotting this coin isn't easy. The absence of a mint mark might seem minor, but that tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. Look closely at the area near Lincoln's shoulder on the obverse side. If there's no D, no P, and the coin appears perfectly struck, you may have stumbled upon one of the rarest modern minting errors. But beware, there are fakes, subtle alterations, and worn coins that can fool even experienced eyes. The stakes are high because this penny isn't just about money, it's about history, rarity, and the thrill of discovery. Auction houses have seen bidders locked in tense, multi-million-dollar wars for a single piece. Each coin carries a story, a piece of the American minting legacy, and the knowledge that you are holding something no one else may ever possess again. Collectors who own a 1988 no-mint mark penny understand that its value isn't static. It grows as more examples are discovered and as the legend spreads. Dealers whisper about potential finds tucked away in forgotten drawers, in envelopes, in old coin collections passed down through generations. One lucky discovery can instantly turn someone's life upside down, from ordinary collector to a millionaire overnight. And here's the secret every serious collector needs to know. When examining coins from the late 1980s, never assume the mint mark is present. Check the obverse carefully under good lighting, preferably with a magnifier. A genuine 1988 no-mint mark penny will shine in its subtle perfection, its rarity undeniable. Don't be fooled by circulation wear or cleaning, as even slight imperfections can affect its value dramatically. This is the moment that makes coin collecting unlike any other hobby. The thrill, the suspense, the possibility that a coin you overlooked decades ago could be worth over $1 million. Imagine holding that penny in your hand, feeling the weight of history, knowing you possess something that could change your life forever. So, if you're sorting through old jars of pennies, take a pause. Examine every Lincoln cent from 1988. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. A once-in-a-lifetime treasure might just be hiding in your pocket change, waiting for the moment you realize its true value. If you want, I can also create a minute-by-minute pacing breakdown for voiceover, showing exactly where to insert cliffhangers and emotional beats to hit the full 10-minute runtime perfectly. This makes it easier for a narrator to deliver with dramatic timing. Do you want me to do that next?